Okay, here we go.
All right, so I'm Gail Ruffin. I know some of you know me, but there's some new faces out there too. Hi, Marcy. I live in Tennessee. You can tell I'm not a Michigan girl. I talk a little bit different, so I hope everybody can understand me okay. If not, I'll repeat myself. I talk pretty slow, so hopefully you won't have an issue with that. But welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that y'all are here. This is session 1 of our Director Bound program, and the title is actually Prospecting and Booking Away from Your Parties. Because you know what? I know sometimes people on my team and myself as well, I don't have parties like I should. I don't have as many as I need, or that I don't have any parties. And so, you know, it's always best, of course, when you have a party to get 2 bookings from that, and then you're ready to go again. You got your businesses going. But if you don't have a party to start with, you got to start. Yes, there's static somewhere.
Second. We've got some static. Somebody's pushing papers or doing something. Would you please mute yourself out if you're doing that? Thank you.
I think that's better now. Good, thank you. But you know, you got to start somewhere. And if you don't have parties, you're not going to have a business. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, prospecting and booking those parties. Can you hear me? Does everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, good. Well, anyway, let's talk a little bit about what you did during the past week, because I know you guys started last Sunday night. I came in late. I had my time mixed up. So I only got in on the very end of the call. But I know Natalie was talking, and I want to find out who got some bookings last week. Who added parties to their calendar? Just hold your hand up and wave at me or something like that so I can see. All right, I see lots of hands. That's great. So those hands booked at least 1 party. So let's up it a little bit. Who booked at least 5 parties last week? Hands up. Let's see who I see. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 6 people, I believe, that booked at least 5 parties. All right, cool. That's awesome. Who booked, let's go to 7. Who booked 7 parties last week? Anybody? Oh, I see a couple of hands.
Great job.
Fabulous, fabulous. So anybody book more than 7? Oh, how many did you book, Molly? I see your hand going up.
I believe it was 13.
You booked 13?
Plus I had a party today and booked 3 more.
Oh my word. Okay. But okay, so who else? Did anybody else book more than 7? Do I see another hand? Is it Yuliza? Yuliza? How many did you book?
Put your fingers up. Put your fingers up.
Yeah, show us fingers. How many? Was it more than 7? Oh, let's see. She's got about 9, I believe. 9 or 10. That is awesome. So I would like to know, anybody else book that many? Okay. I would like to know one tip that you can give everybody that how did you book these? If you booked them at parties, that's great. We want to get parties any way we can get them. But did anybody book them outside of a party? Molly or Yulisa, did you book at any parties outside of a party?
Did anybody do the booking blitz?
Yeah, did anybody do that? Get on the phone. Okay, I see some hands.
I did.
Okay.
I did the booking blitz, but I pretty much green dotted everyone.
Okay. Well, that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's communication. You know, the old school way, of course, is picking up and smiling and dialing. But, you know, now we have so many other options. We can text, we can green dot people, message them on Facebook. So there's lots of other ways to communicate.
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Molly, do you have like a standard script that you use to green dot?
Sorry, my home keeps calling me. Can you call the house? Or, I don't know. Okay, so we're on our way home from a small group. I don't have a standard script. I guess it just kind of depends on what my goal is. So I knew I was in that booking blitz, and I actually told them I was in the booking blitz, and that I had a goal of booking parties. I had a little wording that I shared, and Yeah. And I did what I did because I have the capability of doing it was I was going to offer them the 8-inch saute pan to one of the people that booked with me because I have one to be able to do. So I kind of did that.
Is it like it's a raffle or?
Yeah, whoever booked with me, I was going to put their name in a drawing, and then I would draw one of them.
Okay.
And then here's another thing that was kind of cool that happened, because I think a lot of people are scared to reach out that way and feel like they're bothering people. But one girl that I reached out to, who I met years ago scrapbooking, and I haven't seen her or talked to her for a long time, but she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you asked, because I've been wanting to do a party. Anyway, so I'll totally take you up on this offer. So we got it all booked, and again at the end she said, thank you so much for asking me. So that was really cool because I hadn't talked to her forever. So it's still, I don't think people are bothered by it if you approach them in the correct way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So,
Very good. Thank you.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. Does anybody else have a real quick tip that you would like to share on how you booked a party? Maybe something a little bit different. Don't be shy.
Hi, this is Judy.
Okay.
Hi. I will ask if they want help, and a lot of them say not now, and they'll give me a time frame, or I'll say, do you want me to check back to you in a month or so? And they'll say yes. I write that in the calendar, and so that's how I got one of my bookings. I just followed through and checked back with them, and I just said, I'm just checking back with you like you wanted me to. Are you ready to have a party? And they're like, yeah. So.
Okay, awesome. Because, so many times we get people that say, yeah, this month's not good, but if you'll call me next month, and then if we don't follow up, if we don't call, we're missing that. So excellent job on follow-up. Very good. Very good. All right, well, let's see. The next thing I wanted to talk about, did everybody, now did you talk about making 15 contacts last week outside of the parties? Did y'all talk about that, Natalie or Karen?
I honestly can't remember. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. I think what we said is, the 15 contacts, yes, absolutely, because it would be 45 contacts to get 3 bookings. So
Right.
that's
Right. So you talked about that.
Booking.
And you talked about using the notebook and everything to track those? Okay. All right.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. I missed that part. So I just wanted to make sure before I ask if anybody did it. But anyway, how many of you did make 15 contacts outside of going to parties? Now that takes some time, but not that much time if you're really focused on building your business. That's 3 a day, 5 days a week. So did anybody make their 15 contacts, not including people that you talked to at the party? No one? Oh, I see a hand. Kathy? Natalie?
I do all the time. If I want to have the volume of shows that I want to have, I have to do that.
That's right. That's right. Okay, well, that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So if you did not do it last week, we're going to come up with some with techniques tonight that you can use to absolutely do that next week. And after a week or two of making 15 contacts not at your parties, you're going to see a drastic change in your business. So anyway, some of the ways that you can do that, of course, is through making your customer care calls that we've talked about many, many times. Follow-ups from any booths or fairs or anything like that you've been working, or also people that you met just while you're out doing your normal activities that you do, running errands and that type of thing. Now, it's always important that we're learning something as we go through this business. And last week you had another assignment. You were supposed to listen to an audio training called Make It a Full Calendar. How many of you did that? Show of hands, please. Okay. I would like for about 3 of you just to share one quick tip, something that you learned from that call. Now, not everybody has to share, but who got something really good from that? Who learned something really good? Michelle Power.
I have just one nugget that I got that really kind of opened my eyes, and that is I'm a consultant, not a salesperson.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing. Who else? Somebody else. Now, if you listened, you surely got something from it. Come on, guys.
I got something.
I'm sorry, who's talking?
Michaela.
Michaela, go ahead, Michaela.
It was don't stop doing something just because it didn't work the very first time you tried it.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we got to tweak it a little bit, keep trying.
Right.
Everything doesn't work. The same thing doesn't work with all people, so excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? One more person.
Yeah. This is Sue.
Okay, go ahead, Sue.
Focusing on the free, not what the monthly special is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I didn't get all that. I'm sorry, say that again. Sue Bergman, was that you? That was you talking, right?
No, I didn't say that, but that was a good point that she made about the talk about free, not the monthly specials or the discounts.
Uh-huh.
But what I was going to say is make sure that they can trust you and that they like you. You have to, generate that contact.
Absolutely.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah, being, be a consultant, not a salesperson. That was something that I got, and making sure that people trust you. That's so important. People want to do business with people that they like and people that they trust, and you have to be a real person. You can't come across as something that you're not. And so excellent ideas, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, tonight, I know we have limited time, so we're going to move along. Tonight, we're going to be talking about prospecting and booking away from shows. So who can tell me, what is when I say the word prospecting, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? You just hear the word prospecting. What do you think of? Anybody?
I think of
looking at gold.
Looking for gold. That's exactly what I think of. The gold miners back, the gold rush of back in the day. I think about that. They had their little picks out and they were in their pans and they're panning for gold. That's what I think about. And basically that's kind of what we're doing. They had to have certain tools to be successful when they were looking for gold. We have to have our tools, which we have plenty of tools at our fingertips to use when we're out prospecting, looking for our gold nuggets are bookings and recruit leads, right? So those are what we're looking for. But how can we prospect, and why do we need to do this? Why is it important? Anybody got any ideas? What if we don't like to prospect? Are we going to do pretty well at this business?
No.
We're going to fail.
We're not going to be very successful. We're not going to have enough parties. We're not going to have any recruit leads. So it's something that has to be done. And actually, our training says, how do we prospect? When do we prospect? And where do we prospect? Well, in my opinion, it's just something that you kind of start doing all the time. Now, those of us that have been leaders for a while, it just becomes kind of part of your life, don't you think? When you meet new people, first thing that, when you meet someone new, you talk to them, what have you been doing? Or, what do you do? Where do you work? Where do you live? So you find out some information about them. And then, of course, they're going to turn around and ask you the same thing. And so what's probably one of the first things that comes out of my mouth is, well, I'm a retired school teacher, but I'm not retired from working. I have a wonderful job that I love with Pampered Chef. And then, of course, when they hear those words, what do they normally say?
I love Pampered Chef.
I love Pampered Chef. That's what, 9 times out of 10, that's what they will say when they hear those words. So, it's just something that we do in order to run a successful business, because we cannot be successful if we do not have people having parties and buying products from us, correct? So, this was something that I got out of, also out of that training call that we listened to from last week. And it's the acronym ABC, which means always be connecting, because that's something that we do all the time if you're looking for leads and if you're out prospecting. And one thing that I found out too is everywhere I go, I try to listen to what's going on around me, conversations. If I'm at the grocery store, I'm standing in line to pay, at Aldi, and there's people in front of me, there's people behind me. If they're talking, having conversation, and I hear something that maybe it perks an idea in my mind, oh my gosh, they've got an issue. They don't know what to have, they don't have time to cook. They don't know what to have for dinner. And so any of these topics are things that we can be a problem solver for. So, everywhere you go, always listen to what's going on around you, what people are saying. Look to see what people are doing. If you're in the store especially, what are they buying? What are they looking at in the store? And it's just a great way that you can strike up a conversation. Always, when you go out too, smile at people. If you've got a terrible look on your face, are people going to want to talk to you? They don't want to know. They don't want to hang out with somebody that's grumpy or sad or, so have a smile on your face. Make eye contact with people. Now I know I'm not telling you that you have to be a very outgoing person, but it does help a little bit. But there are ways, even when you don't feel like you're outgoing, that you can kind of get out of your shell. When I started this business, I, believe it or not, was not very outgoing. I didn't like to talk in front of people. I definitely didn't want to go up to strangers and talk to them. And I learned very quickly that, that's the way a lot of people run their businesses, and they have to be able to talk to people that they don't know. And that was kind of frightening to me. Since I've been doing this business for almost 12 years, though, I've changed a lot. It has totally changed my personality. And so, but one way you can get over that is you have to kind of just get over yourself and just put it out there and just make a stab at it, make a go at it. Because even if you mess up, nobody's going to know, and just do the best that you can. But anyway, when you're out and about, one way to get conversation started, like I said, is have a smile on your face, make eye contact with people. If you have something on, like logo wear, that says Pampered Chef, that's it, like Karen's got on right now, that's a really easy way to start conversations, because sometimes you don't even have to start the conversation. You got on your t-shirt or your sweatshirt that says Pampered Chef, you've got a bag with a catalog sticking out of it. Even if you don't have one of those cool catalog bags with a clear sleeve, just stick one in your purse and have it sticking out. Somebody's going to say, oh, do you sell Pampered Chef? And I always used to be sarcastic and say, no, I just like to carry catalogs. But no, I'm just, I'm being silly right there. But it will get people's attention. The other thing is, be prepared when you're out and about, especially if you're wearing logo wear or if you have that decal on your car that people can see. Because more times than not, when I'm wearing a shirt, somebody will stop me and say, oh, do you sell Pampered Chef? Do you have a catalog? And if I don't have some, I feel really stupid. Here I am advertising. I'm a walking billboard with this on my shirt, but I don't even have a catalog to give them. So at least have some minis in your purse or in your tote bag or whatever you're carrying around. I have full-size catalogs in my car all the time. I have host packets in my car all the time to be ready to hand them out, because you never know when somebody's going to want to have a party. So be prepared with materials to hand out at all times. Be neat in your appearance. Now, I'm not saying that you always have to have your makeup on and your hair done, because I certainly don't always go to town that way. But, the better you look, of course, you don't have to be wearing your heels and in a fancy dress, but be neat. Don't look too slouchy, because, if you're all slouchy and, dirt under your fingernails and your hair's not combed at all, people are not going to say, if you're talking to them about coming to their house to cook, they're going to say, no way. So, be neat in your appearance, and because image is important for this. Like I mentioned earlier, be a real person, be relatable, and trustworthy. And here's another thing that's super, super important when you're talking to people about having a party or, prospecting. You have got to believe that every person that you talk to might want to have a party. Never appear desperate that you've got, that your calendar is empty. If it is empty, don't tell anybody. Keep that part hidden away and act like you're very busy. When I'm talking to folks about having a party, I'm like, well, really need to go ahead and pencil you in on my calendar, even if you're not wanting to have the party until June the 15th, because I'm super busy and and you might not get the date that you want. So be sure that you do not ever appear desperate, and really believe that everybody out there does want what we have. two things. One thing that I would never say to anyone, and when I'm talking to them about having a party, is, would you please have a party for me? That's just not a good way to approach it. On the other hand, I say something like this: when am I going to get to come to your house and cook for you and your friends? And we'll just have a ball. We'll just have so much fun. Make it all about them. They're not doing something for you when they book a party. You are doing something for them when you show up and show them a good time, them and their friends a good time, and they end up with lots of free products. Okay, let's see how much time we got. All right, so one thing that I'm going to suggest that you do is something called the Mini Catalog Challenge. Now, this is something that if you don't like to get out and talk to people, meet people, this is going to make you do that. It's going to make you get out of your comfort zone. I want everyone tonight, when you get off the phone, if you have some mini catalogs in your office there, put 10 of them in your purse or in your tote bag, whatever you carry with you every day. Attached to each of those mini catalogs, you need a sticky note, or you need one of the hosted or the guest information sheets that we use at parties. If you'll staple one of those to each catalog, and then when you head out in the morning to pay your electric bill or to go by the bank and make a deposit or whatever, don't go through the drive-through. Go in the building so you can actually talk to people. And there's nothing wrong with being honest. And I liked how Molly said that she just told people that she was doing a booking blitz, and because people like to help you. If it's people that they like to help you. But pull out those catalogs. If have them in your bag. And then as you're going through your daily routine and you see someone, maybe you're standing in line waiting, but you see somebody, then you can say, you know what, I have been challenged by my director to hand out some catalogs this week. I'm with Pampered Chef, and I'm just thinking that you might like to have one of these. And of course, then when you say those words, Pampered Chef, they're going to say what we said a minute ago. Oh, I just love Pampered Chef. And then you're going to give them a mini catalog. Now, of course, it won't do us much good if you just give them the catalog and we don't get something from them. So that's what the little slip or the sticky note is for. That is, I want you to ask them for some information. And you just tell them, say, it's part of my job every week that I give away 10 of these catalogs, and I'd love to give this one to you. And if you just take a minute and fill out this little slip for me, I'll give you a call and see if you have any questions about any of our products when you've got a little bit more time. Because most of the time people are, they're kind of in a rush. If you're in a line or whatever, you don't have time to talk to them much more than that. So as your prospect is filling out the customer information sheet, you can even have a little bit of conversation with them. Ask them a question like, well, do you have any of our products? Or when was the last time you attended a Pampered Chef party? And see what they say. And the results are going to be pretty amazing to you, because usually about 7 out of 10 people that you give a catalog to will actually give you their information. So that's pretty phenomenal. Then what are you going to do with that information when you get home? Well, guess what? We have that thing called a power hour that we're supposed to do every day. And so that's a good time for you to make some calls. And if you have new people that you have met while you're out and about, you've got people to call. And then you may be sitting there thinking, yeah, but what am I going to say when I call them? I don't know what to say. I feel stupid. Well, you know what? We have a booking script that I'm going to be sharing with you after our call is over. I will post that, and you can print this out. And of course, I don't like to use a booking script exactly like it is, because it doesn't sound like me. But use that as a guide. Make it be you. Make it sound like you. And then you're going to be that real person that I mentioned earlier, where you're talking to them and actually being someone that they want to get to know and become a friend with. So how many of you think you can do this mini catalog challenge? How many of you are willing to give it a shot and give it a try? If you don't have mini catalogs and you still have old recipe cards or something like that, that's another thing that you can hand out to people. Everybody always says yes to a recipe. Or just print out some recipes and hand those out if you don't have mini catalogs. So anyway, our call to action for this week is to hand out those 10 mini catalogs, and do it this week, see how it goes, and then do it again next week. We're going to continue to check on you. Start tracking those contacts in your notebook. If you didn't do that last week, make sure that you're going to do that this week. Write down everybody that you meet, everybody that you call. And please make your 15 contacts outside of the party and do that power hour where you're following up. You meet people, get their numbers, and you don't follow up, it's all for nothing. So make sure you do those follow-up calls. And then, of course, we will have a training audio assignment for this week. This week's call that you're going to be doing is called Make It a Network, and I will post the link to that on our Director Bound group as soon as we're all done so that you can go ahead and start listening to that and making your notes for next week. Because, like I said, the more you learn, the more you earn, and we should all be learning constantly. I do have a little quote that I want to end with for my part, and then if you all have questions or more comments or anything, if we still have time. Karen, how much time do we have left?
We've got about 8 minutes.
Okay, great. I was afraid I wouldn't finish up. So anyway, but my quote is this: who you are tomorrow begins with what you do today. So don't put it off. Go ahead, get those catalogs ready tonight, put them in your bag so you'll be ready and figure out where you're going to be tomorrow, and see if you can't do that. Get started, because that's what's going to determine your success with this program. And those of us that want to promote up and level, you have to work. There's no other way around it. Success is not going to come to you unless you do the work. So, but keep that in mind. And I know I keep waiting and it hasn't come yet, so I guess I'm going to have to work. But thank you all so much for being part of this program. We all appreciate you very, very much, more than you know. And I know that all of you are going to be very successful because you are here and you are trying and you are listening and learning. So, Karen, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
We really do. We believe in each one of you. We
Yes,
really
we
do. That you're putting forth this effort to be part of this workshop, and you're showing that you care, that you want your business to grow, and you can absolutely do that. So and again, the things that we're talking about, watching the videos is not something you probably should do a video or two a week, but the steps you're learning are steps that we're creating good, healthy business habits, and it's really part of what the job is, because you've said you want more from your Pampered Chef business. So thanks for some great training, Gail. I mean, a lot of great tips, and some of them, are you're already doing and it comes easy for you, and other things you're going to have to work a little bit harder at. I do want to mention before, I'd love to hear from some of the rest of you, but I will be posting the name of everyone I could see who was on the workshop tonight. And some people have phone numbers, and I don't know who they are. Some of you, I'm not sure who you are. I just put your first name if your little caption doesn't tell what your name is, and I apologize because I'm getting to know some of you who aren't part of our team. So please feel free to correct me. And if you have a phone number on there, please let me know which one of those phone numbers is yours. I did not put area code because I don't want to post your phone number. Anyway, any thoughts from tonight's class? Any questions or anything you feel like you need more information about? Who knows what their next step is? What is the next step you need to reach your goals with Pampered Chef?
Make the calls.
Make more calls?
Who has their May calendar booked the way they want it? I see a few people. Write that magic number that Karen talks about all the time at the top of your calendar and look at it every single day when you open up your calendar. When you hit that number, how are you going to feel?
Amazing. Yeah, there's a couple people on the call who probably have their magic number. And I have a feeling Natalie is there. I have a feeling that Molly is there. Anyone else? Gail, do you have your magic number for May?
I'm pretty close. I could squeeze in a couple more, but I'm much better than last month. So.
Excellent. And so, again, Natalie already shared that it feels great to be there. Anything you'd like to add to that, Natalie?
Well, I think it's great to have that magic number, but I always try to book more than my magic number because cancellations happen all the time. I mean, and I had said this last week also, that you can expect 20% of your shows to cancel. And even the ones that you're like, oh my gosh, that's going to hold. I know it's going to hold. What happens is sickness, their children. I mean, there's so many variables with that. Yeah. And so, I mean, sometimes it can be up to 30% if it's bad weather, if there's the flu is going around. So I have a magic number always. However, I book more.
Mm-hmm. Well, and cancellations could be postponements.
They all, absolutely.
Right. And we've all, and again, that's something, if you haven't really wrapped your mind around that this is an appointment business, like lots of people have appointment businesses. And if you've ever changed a nail appointment or a hair appointment, they don't go off and feel all depressed that their business is failing because they've had a change. Where often we feel that way. We feel like, my business is awful because I have, somebody changed a date. But if you're following Natalie's advice, you're gonna go, phew, I have a night, I'm gonna have a night off because I'm so scheduled, and that's a great place to be.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that night off, the thing is, if you're expecting those cancellations and they don't happen, you're gonna just have a bigger commission check, and be in front of more people.
That's right.
So you can book more shows, so you can do more recruiting. I mean, it's just all part of it.
And Karen, also the blessing to having a full calendar like that, to have, when you get that first month that's booked the way you really want it, guess what? Then it's not so difficult to continue because you've got those 8 or 10 shows that you want, or whatever your magic number might be. Book 2 parties from every one of those.
Right.
Then you're set for the next month, and then going into the following one. So that's the way to really run your business. And then you don't have to panic over, making a bunch of, outside of the box calls that we don't like to do and that type of thing. So,
I'd like to share 2 ideas if I could. The first one is one of my favorite things to do is if you feel like you need to build your calendar, I'm going to encourage you, and I'm going to say the week after next, the second week of May, I'm going to encourage you to book 3 parties in a row.
Oh, yeah.
When you book 3 parties in a row, there's a lot of magic that happens there. And what's going to happen is the first one's going to be, a little rusty. The second one, you're going to be right on. And the third one, you're going to book a whole bunch of parties. So that's a really fun thing to do. And I'm going to challenge you to use that tip. And again, and I talked about maybe the week after next, but things don't even have to take that long. About 2 weeks ago, maybe it might be closer to 3 weeks ago now, one of my friends was on Facebook, and she was talking about how she was raising money for her kid. Who's got bottles? Who's got this? Who's got that? My kid earned this, or won the national championships for robotics, and I need to raise like $1,000, to take him there and all that. Well, I said, let's do a Pampered Chef party. Well, we did a Pampered Chef party and fundraiser in 10 days. It was $1,300. I'm writing her a check for $346. That all happened very fast. And all it is just paying attention and reacting when you see something going on. So it doesn't have to, it can happen really fast. So don't just be paying attention and keep your post, let people know that you do fundraisers. Let people know that you did a bridal shower today. A lot of different ways that we can bring Pampered Chef to people. Talk about wine, cheese, and chocolate. Talk about Cinco de Mayo, which is next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody else have more tips? Because you're all smarter than me.
You always have to be thinking about your business.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stop thinking about your business, okay, so get back to the reason why you started. It's the product. You love the product. Don't you want everybody to have some of these products?
Mm-hmm.
If you really have that desire, it's going to happen. Seriously.
Yeah, that's so true. And it was really funny because a little earlier I was just messaging with someone about tension, about stress. We don't want you to live, eat, and drink Pampered Chef. We want you to have a well-balanced life. We really do. However, while you're building, you really want to do everything you can to work your business alongside what you're doing in your life. Don't be afraid to talk to your banker. Don't be afraid to talk with the person that does your nails. Don't be afraid to talk to the person who takes care of your kids. Again, fundraisers for daycare centers. I mean, they're just, think outside the box. And you can use our Joe Pack, Director Bound Express Facebook page, is a place to be safe and ask ideas, because we're all working together. We all believe in each other. We want to be here to help support you. But you've got to be doing the work. You've got to be trying these principles. Yeah. It's like taking French and never using French. You've got to use what we talk about and try different things, because that's how you learn. That's how you figure out what works and what doesn't work. And like Gail said earlier, you can't just try something once. I tried that gall darn ticket game at parties 20 times. 20 times. I hated it. And now I can't imagine doing a party without it. And that's significant. I mean, that's really the story of my business. I learned everything the hard way. So, but I'm talking too much. So I would love to hear from any of you who have something to add. If you have a challenge, again, I really want you to walk away from this workshop knowing the next step you need to take. What are you doing tonight? What are you going to do tomorrow? For 1 hour, you need to work your business every day on money making, not shifting papers, not getting lost in Facebook world, but making phone calls, making contacts, whether we're for bookings or for recruiting or for shows. Active work that's going to add to your calendar.
Make that list tonight, what you're going to do in the morning.
Every Sunday night, really sit down and look at your week. What do I have to get done this week?
Plan it out.
Plan it out. Takes 15 minutes and you'll have your hour schedule every day done. Got it? Get it?
You can do it.
Good. We've got less than a minute. Thank you again for a great workshop. Have a great week and follow up with your directors, okay?
Thank
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome. My pleasure.